At Lincoln High School, a group of cheerleaders cornered Aaliyah Carter, the new black girl on the squad, mocking her with cruel taunts about her hair and her place on the team, oblivious to one critical fact. Her father, Commander Jamal Carter, was a Navy SEAL who didn't take kindly to anyone hurting his daughter. Aaliyah Carter was 16, a junior who had just transferred to Lincoln High School in a quiet suburban town outside of San Diego. She was tall, with a graceful athleticism honed from years of dance and gymnastics. Her dark skin glowed under the California sun, and her braided hairstyle was a point of pride, a connection to her heritage. Aaliyah had joined the cheerleading squad hoping to make friends and find a sense of belonging in her new school. She'd been welcomed at first, her talent undeniable during tryouts, but it didn't take long for the whispers and sideways glances to start. By her third week, the subtle slights had turned into something uglier. The trouble began with Kaylee Monroe, the cheerleading captain, a senior with a sharp tongue and an inflated sense of authority. Kaylee was used to being the center of attention, her blonde hair and confident smile earning her a loyal clique of followers. She didn't like Aaliyah's natural charisma or the way she'd quickly mastered the team's routines. During practice, Kaylee would critique Aaliyah's every move, her tone dripping with condescension. "Your form's off, Aaliyah. Maybe cheerleading's not for you," she'd say, loud enough for the others to hear. Her friends, Haley, Madison, and Chloe, would giggle, their eyes glinting with malice. Aaliyah tried to brush it off. She was no stranger to adversity, having moved multiple times because of her father's military career. Commander Jamal Carter was a decorated Navy SEAL, a man of quiet strength and unwavering discipline. He taught Aaliyah to hold her head high, to focus on her goals, and to never let anyone dim her light. Her mother, Denise, a nurse, reinforced the same lessons, encouraging Aaliyah to channel her energy into her passions. Cheerleading was one of those passions, and Aaliyah wasn't about to let Kaylee's petty jab stop her. But the bullying escalated. One afternoon, as Aaliyah changed in the locker room after practice, she found her gym bag dumped out, her braids mocked in a group chat she wasn't supposed to see. The messages were vicious. "She thinks she's all that with those cornrows, and why's she even here? She doesn't fit." Aaliyah's stomach twisted, but she refused to cry. She gathered her things, deleted the app from her phone, and walked out with her chin up. She didn't tell her parents, not yet. She wanted to handle it herself, to prove she was strong enough. The next day, things got worse. During a water break at practice, Kaylee accidentally spilled her drink on Aaliyah's practice uniform, smirking as she muttered, "Oops, my bad." The other girls laughed, and Aaliyah felt the heat of humiliation creep up her neck. She excused herself to the bathroom, splashing cold water on her face to calm down. She knew she could confront Kaylee, but she also knew it would only make things worse. The coach, Ms. Reynolds, was oblivious, too focused on choreography to notice the tension. Aaliyah felt alone, but she wasn't about to quit. She'd earned her spot on the team, and she wasn't going anywhere. That evening, Aaliyah sat at the kitchen table, her homework untouched. Her father noticed her quiet mood immediately. Jamal Carter was 42, with a muscular build and a calm demeanor that masked his years of high-stakes missions. He'd served multiple tours overseas, trained in counterterrorism, and led teams through situations most people couldn't imagine. Now stationed at a nearby naval base, he was home more often, cherishing the time with his family. He watched Aaliyah push her food around her plate and knew something was wrong. "What's going on, baby girl?" he asked, his voice gentle but probing. Aaliyah hesitated. She didn't want to worry him, but his steady gaze made it hard to hold back. "It's nothing, Dad. Just some girls on the team are being mean." Jamal's eyes narrowed slightly. "Mean how?" she sighed, picking at her nails. "They say stuff about my hair, my clothes. They don't think I belong on the squad. It's stupid, but it's getting to me." Denise, who'd been listening from the stove, set down her spatula and joined them. "That's not stupid, Aaliyah. That's bullying. Have you told your coach?" Aaliyah shook her head. "Ms. Reynolds doesn't see it, and I don't want to make a big deal. I just want to cheer and be done with it." Jamal leaned forward, his voice firm but kind. You don't have to fight this alone. You're strong, but you're not an island. Let us help. Aaliyah nodded, but she wasn't ready to share everything. Not the group chat, not the spilled drink. She wanted to believe she could handle it. Jamal exchanged a look with Denise, a silent agreement to keep an eye on the situation. He knew his daughter was tough, but he also knew the toll bullying could take. He'd seen it in the military, where hazing could break even the strongest recruits. He wasn't about to let that happen to Aaliyah. The following week, the bullying reached a breaking point. The team was preparing for a big halftime performance at the school's homecoming game, and tensions were high. During a rehearsal, Kaylee deliberately tripped Aaliyah during a stunt, causing her to stumble in front of the whole squad. The laughter was immediate, Kaylee's voice rising above the rest. Maybe stick to basketball, Aaliyah. This isn't your thing. The racial undertone wasn't lost on Aaliyah, and this time, she couldn't stay silent. She stepped toward Kaylee, her voice steady. You've got a problem with me. Say it to my face. I'm here because I earned it. Same as you. Kaylee smirked, unfazed. Earned it? You're a diversity pick. Everyone knows it. The words hit like a punch, and the other girls fell silent. Some looking away, others smirking. Aaliyah felt her hands tremble, but before she could respond, Ms. Reynolds called for the team to get back to work. Aaliyah swallowed her anger and rejoined a routine, but the incident left a mark. That night, she told her parents everything, the taunts, the group chat, the trip. Denise's eyes filled with tears, but Jamal's face was stone, his mind already working through solutions. I'm going to the school tomorrow, he said. This ends now. Aaliyah protested. Dad, please. I don't want everyone knowing my dad had to step in. It'll make it worse. Jamal took her hand. I'm not going to embarrass you, but I'm not letting this continue. Trust me. The next morning, Jamal arrived at Lincoln High, dressed in civilian clothes but carrying the authority of a man who'd faced far worse than high school mean girls. He requested a meeting with the principal, Dr. Ellen Harris, and Ms. Reynolds. Dr. Harris was a seasoned administrator, empathetic but cautious about stirring conflict. Ms. Reynolds seemed surprised, insisting she hadn't noticed any issues on the team. Jamal was calm but direct. My daughter is being bullied. It's targeted, it's racial, and it's happening under your watch. Aaliyah's been tripped, mocked, and excluded. There's a group chat with messages about her hair and her place on the team. This isn't just kids being kids, it's harassment. Dr. Harris listened, her expression growing serious. Commander Carter, I'm deeply sorry to hear this. We have a zero-tolerance policy for bullying. Can Aaliyah provide evidence, like screenshots of this group chat? She can, Jamal said. But I'm also asking you to look at the culture on this team. Aaliyah's not the only one who might be dealing with this. You need to address it at the root. Ms. Reynolds shifted uncomfortably. I've never seen anything overt. The girls can be cliquey, but cliquey doesn't cover racial taunts or physical aggression. Jamal cut in, his voice low but firm. You're responsible for these kids. You need to see what's happening. Dr. Harris nodded. We'll investigate immediately. I'll speak to Aaliyah and the other girls, and we'll review any evidence. If this is happening, there will be consequences. Jamal wasn't done. I'd also like to attend practice today. Not to interfere, just to observe. I want to see what my daughter's dealing with. Dr. Harris hesitated, but agreed. As a parent, you're welcome to observe, but we ask that you let us handle any disciplinary actions. Jamal nodded, though his eyes said he'd step in if needed. That afternoon, he sat in the bleachers during cheer practice, his presence quiet but commanding. The girls noticed him immediately, their usual chatter subdued. Aaliyah felt a mix of embarrassment and relief, knowing her father was there but hoping he wouldn't make a scene. Kaylee, however, didn't know who Jamal was. She assumed he was just another parent and continued her usual behavior, snapping at Aaliyah during a formation. You're out of step again. Can you at least try to keep up? Her tone was sharp, and the other girl snickered. Jamal watched, his expression unreadable. He didn't intervene, not yet. But he noted every interaction, every glance, every whispered comment. When practice ended, He approached Ms. Reynolds, his voice calm but laced with authority. "I saw what happened today. Kaylee's targeting my daughter, and you didn't step in. I'm giving you a chance to handle this, but if it continues, I'll escalate it." Ms. Reynolds nodded, clearly unnerved. "I'll talk to Kaylee and the team. This won't happen again." That evening, Dr. Harris called Aaliyah into her office with her parents. Aaliyah shared the screenshots from the group chat, her hands steady despite the knot in her stomach. The messages were damning, racial comments, insults about her appearance, and mockery of her skills. Dr. Harris promised swift action, and by the next day, Kaylee, Haley, Madison, and Chloe were suspended from the cheer team pending a full investigation. The news spread quickly. Kaylee's clique was stunned, their influence crumbling overnight. Some students whispered about Aaliyah's scary dad, unaware of his military background but sensing his authority. Others, including a few teammates who'd stayed silent, approached Aaliyah to apologize, admitting they'd been too afraid to speak up. Jamal didn't stop at the school's response. He met with the district superintendent, advocating for mandatory anti-bullying and diversity training for all athletic programs. He also worked with Denise to enroll Aaliyah in a weekend self-defense class, not because she needed to fight, but because he wanted her to feel empowered. "You're strong," he told her. "But strength isn't just physical. It's knowing when to stand up and when to ask for help." Aaliyah returned to the cheer team after the suspensions, her head held high. Without Kaylee's influence, the dynamic shifted. Some girls were wary, others more respectful. Aaliyah focused on her routines, her talent shining brighter without the weight of harassment. At the homecoming game, she performed flawlessly, her smile genuine as she nailed every stunt. Jamal and Denise watched from the stands, pride in their eyes. Kaylee and her friends faced consequences beyond suspension. The school required them to attend counseling and write apologies to Aaliyah. Kaylee's college scholarship offers were reevaluated, her reputation tarnished. The experience humbled her, though Aaliyah didn't care about her remorse. She was done letting their words define her. Jamal's intervention didn't just protect his daughter, it sent a ripple through the school. Other students began reporting bullying incidents, and Dr. Harris implemented new policies to foster inclusivity. Aaliyah found allies in teammates who'd once stayed silent, and she became a quiet leader, encouraging younger girls to speak up. The Carters knew the world wasn't perfect. Aaliyah would face challenges again, because of her race, her ambition, or simply because life was unfair. But Jamal's presence that day, his unwavering support, reminded her she was never alone. He was a Navy SEAL, trained to face any threat, but his greatest mission was ensuring his daughter could face the world with courage and pride. And in that, he'd succeeded.